Well, hello, my name is Jim Royal. I am a huge Beatles and Elvis Presley fan and basically classic rock in general. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. Do a thumbs up, that's always most appreciated. And feel free to leave comments. I always enjoy reading them and do my best to try to respond in a timely manner. Today what I wanted to do is review a classic Beatle album. This is called the Beatles' Hey Jude. It was originally released here in the United States in February of 1970, and then finally in the UK it wasn't released until May of 1979. So here it is right here. And the original working title, the original album for Hey Jude, it was called The Beatles Again. In fact, let me show you the label on it. I've got an early pressing here, and I think from what I read, it was originally called The Beatles Again, but then they printed up these labels, and then they decided before they released it that we were going to call it Hey Jude. Check that out. It's on the nice Apple label. Make sure you can see that. Whoops. And see the Beatles again. I thought that's pretty cool. And let's show you backside. Okay. There's really, the inner sleeve that I have is just white. It's kind of fading, turning yellow with age because it is 50 years old. So anyway, let's talk about this. This is a compilation album. Okay, this is, but it looks to me like, you know, it looks like a proper album, and that's what's cool about it. What it does is it collects singles and non-album tracks that were not up to that point on either a Capitol Records release, which was their US record company, or Apple Records. Okay? There are 10 songs on here. Let me show you the record, the jacket in a little more detail. This was from a photo shoot, probably I think their last one, with Linda McCartney. I think it was August 22nd, 1969, and this was at John's house in Tittenhurst Park. So that's it. And take a look at the superimposed photo up there from the same day. Isn't that cool? I've always thought that was neat. You got that. And then the back side. And what's interesting from what I have read is that this was originally, they were flipped. This was supposed to be the original cover for the record. And notice that the songs, I'm going to go in detail here, but the songs, the track listing is different on there than what is actually on the record. I like that. Look at that. Okay? So this is a common album, yes, but it's one of those that I think that if you're a Beatle fan, I think it's worth getting because it's official Beatle product. It's an album that went on a print, on record anyway, in the late 80s. It continued on cassette through the 90s, and it didn't see its CD release until 2014 when it was part of the Capitol US albums. So let's talk about the song, shall we? The first song on side A is Can't Buy Me Love, and then you have I Should Have Known Better. And those were songs from 1964 from A Hard Day's Night. They are making their debut here on Capitol Records and Apple because as far as a long-playing record, because they were originally only on the United Artists album for A Hard Day's Night. Okay? Now, I would say this is probably kind of an oddity. I understand, you know, the collection, the purpose of it, but I don't think that it fits with the rest of the album. I think, as you will see, the rest of the album is mid to later Beatles. Alright? The next song on here is, you have the single Paperback Writer with the B-side Rain. Really good choice. That was from the Revolver Sessions in 1966. Paperback Writer was an excellent Paul McCartney tune, and then of course John's Rain which Ringo says is one of his favorite Beatles songs. Then after that, you've got Lady Madonna, which was a wonderful 1968 single written by Paul. And then you have Revolution, which was summer '68, one of the debut singles from Apple Records, and it was the double A-sided single with Hey Jude. Alright, you flip it over to the other side, and you've got Hey Jude on side 2. And then you have Old Brown Shoe, a wonderful George Harrison tune. Old Brown Shoe was the B-side to the Ballad of John and Yoko. And then you have Don't Let Me Down, which was recorded during the Get Back, Let It Be sessions, John Lennon tune. And that was the B-side to Get Back. And then finally you have the Ballad of John and Yoko, which was the A-side with, like I said, Old Brown Shoe was the B-side. And that was released in that and the Get Back session, the Get Back song, Don't Let Me Down, were released in the spring of 1969. Excellent. Ballad of John and Yoko was a wonderful tune that Ringo Starr and George Harrison don't play on. They were not present. It was John and Paul, and it was about John Lennon's wedding and his honeymoon and his bed-in. Him and Paul played all the instruments, and they did it over an 8.5-hour recording session. So that's the record. The thing that's interesting, I wanted to show you the cassette. This is the cassette that I had got, my family, let me get a little closer here. In the early 80s, when I started really collecting Beatle albums, cassettes is what my family, pre-recorded cassettes is what my family were buying. It was either that or vinyl and maybe the tail on 8-track. But we were buying the pre-recorded cassettes. I got this, my mom got it for me. And what is interesting is it actually flips the album around, which to me is how I was always used to it. So, you start off with Hey Jude, Old Brown Shoe, Don't Let Me Down, Ballad of John and Yoko. Then on the side B, you have Can't Buy Me Love, I Should Have Known Better, Paperback Writer, Rain, Lady Madonna. And check that out. Look at the, I think that the 70s Capitol label. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Right there at the bottom there. And then you look at the cassette. The cassette never had any interesting lining or anything. It was always blank. But then those white cassettes from that period. And this is my copy. This is from back at that time. And it's really cool. I haven't looked at it for so long, but that's it. And then you got the older Capitol Dome. Okay. So what would you do? There are other songs that were singles or non-album tracks that weren't on Capitol or Apple up to that point. What I would do, this is what I would do. I would take off I Should Have Known Better and Can't Buy Me Love, and I would replace them with The Inner Light, which is a wonderful B-side to Lady Madonna in '68, a wonderful George Harrison tune. And then I would, the second song I would put on there is the Get Back single. Get Back, it was a little different, and I would put that in place of those two songs. So that would be my choice. What would you do? Would you put I'm Down, the B-side to Help? Would you put the Wildlife version of Across the Universe? Because by that point it was already released. It was from that charity album, Nothing's Gonna Change My World. So anyway, I wanted to thank you. Wanted to also mention that this was probably one of the good things that Alan Klein did as far as releases for the Beatles. This was an idea that he and the Beatles, but he had come up with to help out. And like I said, they called it originally the Beatles Again, but I think due to the fact that, hey, we have a really big single here, Hey Jude, that had come out a year and a half before, let's capitalize on that, and that's why they officially call it Hey Jude. And actually in the spine, it does say Hey Jude on there. So I love this album. When I was a kid, I knew it was a collection because I looked at the songs. And I think that, you know, but I treated it like a Let It Be. It was one of the early cassettes that I got. And I looked at it as, hey, this is a cool album. This is not just a collection of stuff. And I think they make it work really well because of that. I think it was just excellent. So I just wanted to thank you very much for watching my video. And you have a nice day. Okay? Take care. Bye.